What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video. Today, we're going to do the pre-game preview. I've been very busy, wanted to get this to you guys yesterday, but now we at least know at this point what all the injuries are going to be, at least most of them, obviously. We have a couple questionables, so we'll start with the injury report, then we'll look at the rest of this game, some information that's come out about Anthony. A lot to talk about here, going to do it as quickly as I can, going through the Jets and then starting with their injury report. Devontae Adams shows up on the practice report with a wrist and an illness. He did not practice Wednesday and Thursday, but was a full participant on Friday. List is questionable, seemingly good to go. Their other questionable designation comes from Solomon Thomas, defensive end with a knee injury. He did not practice on Wednesday, then was limited both Thursday and Friday. And he's a good part of their defensive rotation on that defensive line. So obviously if he's out, that would bode well for us. Looks like he's going to be good to go, though. People that they did have listed out, though. C.J. Mosley, which is huge. One of the better inside linebackers in the NFL. Having him out is a big deal. Then you have Tyron Smith, the left tackle, one of the best left tackles of all time. Obviously later in his career, so he hasn't been fantastic. But he's also going to be out. Both those guys with neck injuries going to be missing this game. So both those guys being out definitely going to help us in this game. And of course, with us, it's going to come down to execution. The only other person that they have out is center Jack Hansen. But that offensive line is beat up, right? They already have two of these guys out. Morgan Moses, knee injury, popped up on the injury report, but he's good to go. Elijah Vera Tucker, he's on the injury report with an ankle injury, but he's going to be good to go. I mean, even Aaron Rodgers is on here with a hamstring and knee injury. He was full participant all week, but this is banged up Jets team we're going on. I mean, DJ Reed, Chuck Clark, they're both on the injury report. A lot of big names here on the injury report, and the names that I just mentioned, all these guys, those are guys are going to be good to go. All those guys are good. But nonetheless, Jets very banged up, whereas we are fairly healthy. Pretty healthy for the most part. Julian Blackmon showed up with a shoulder injury, but practiced all week. DeForest Buckner had a rest day. Michael Pittman Jr. coming back from that back injury. He was on the injury report all week, but practiced in full all week long. The one person we do have out is going to be Bernard Raymond. He is going to be out because of the knee injury. So we're once again going to have three rookies on the offensive line. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes. And then the last injury-related name on this list is going to be EJ Speed. We had a couple guys that sat out Friday with rest. But EJ Speed here with the knee injury, limited participant Wednesday and Thursday. Practice in full on Friday. Technically listed as questionable right now, but it seems like EJ probably going to be good to go in this game. So fairly healthy for us. Obviously, we have Anthony Richardson coming back, and like I said, we have three rookie offensive linemen. What's going on, Colts Nation? Appreciate you joining me for another video. And before we get into the video, just know that in the description there is a link for Green Gridiron where you can get mini helmets or authentic NFL helmets. Okay, and make sure to use the discount code INDSYN at checkout and use that referral code down in the description so that they know I sent you. Okay, so again, go to the description. Holiday season coming up. Mini helmets, mini helmet accessories, helmet accessories, whatever the case may be. You want it for you, your man cave, a loved one, whatever the case is. Mini helmets and authentic NFL helmets can be found on Green Gridiron. The link in the description. Again, that is code INDSYN for the discount code. I appreciate you stopping by, and now let's get into the video. And while the three rookie offensive linemen have been surprisingly good in my opinion, Bortolini, Tucker, Gonçalves, he's definitely got some space to improve, but he hasn't been terrible, right? Especially for a rookie that's had to play right tackle and now left tackle multiple weeks. And Noah Compton had something on Twitter. He said the projected Colts O-line for Anthony Richardson's return: Matt Gonçalves, Quentin Nelson, Tanner Bortolini, Dalton Tucker, Braden Smith. This unit allowed 12 pressures and 4 sacks while protecting Joe Flacco against the Bills in Week 10. Right, so obviously the rookies in there struggling. Braden Smith has struggled this season between penalties and getting beat around the edge. There have definitely been. I'm not going to sit here and say like he consistently gets beat. I think he wins more than he loses, but it's just the penalties are a killer for Braden Smith. He's been a part of that. Quentin Nelson, the other long-term starter that's still on the offensive line right now, he's had a problem with false starts. So both of our veteran guys, having penalty issues. Then you have a bunch of rookies that could possibly give up pressures and sacks, right? So having Anthony back will help. We give up less sacks when Anthony, because he can just run away from people. So there is that added benefit. We're going to, statistically give up less sacks. You want him to not be pressured. There have been a couple games this season, and I think in Anthony's last two starts where it was just a crazy amount of pressure that Anthony was under. I think one of the Dolphins game, he was 60% pressured, something like that. So as he comes back, you want to see him just be able to operate. I think coming back, obviously he's not going to come back and immediately turn into Superman, but I do think there's some optimism coming back, not only because of kind of his comments and what Shane said they wanted to work on, what Anthony talked about with, understanding the situation. Basically, everything he said boils down to, hey, I understand my situation now. And I thought there was a good piece by Stephen Holder. I've seen different parts of it, but one of the things that came out in a couple parts of what he wrote, I wanted to go ahead and read to you guys to give you an idea of where we are with Anthony and why I have confidence Anthony coming back is going to be the best version of Anthony. And this says, conversations with teammates and multiple sources have created a clearer picture of what transpired behind the scenes. What they laid out was a story of a young quarterback described as naive rather than resistant, a player who didn't know what he didn't know. The benching, according to a team source, was an effort to get Richardson's attention. So one change that's come in recent weeks, according to team sources, is Richardson arriving to work earlier. He's been getting to the team facility around 5:30 a.m., getting an early start on film study and general game planning ahead of Sunday's game against the Jets. The extra time in the building has allowed him to dig deeper. Case in point, Richardson has been meeting with offensive line coach Tony Sparano Jr. to go through pass protections in greater detail. The protections are addressed in other meetings too, but the extra time allows for a richer understanding of the concepts. All of this is exactly what. Now, of course, this needs to be a habit. This needs to be like what he becomes, right? And I just keep thinking like, man, somebody needs to make sure that Anthony Richardson has a direct pipeline to Peyton Manning. How did Peyton Manning prepare? What did he do to get ready for every Sunday? Because could you imagine? Peyton Manning has all the physical gifts of Anthony Richardson, plus he's still Peyton Manning. And imagine that player. If we can develop that player, right? Begin that relationship and just not even just to have him like as a full-time mentor or anything, just somebody he could reach out. Hey, how did you do things while you were here? How do I reset the standard of what we are? And it sounds like he's on his way there. The veteran players he's talked to on the team and all the different guys we have, it seems like everybody has that needs to get in his ear has gotten in his ear. Hey, these are your expectations. And this is all what I talked about here on this channel. This is why I said it was the right decision to sit Anthony, because you get his attention. Like this is literally what I said was we needed to get his attention to be like, hey, bro, and you're not just going to have this job just because we drafted you number 4. Like, you're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to understand the situation of what a franchise quarterback is and what that entails, right? The sacrifices that have to be made. And he has a better understanding right now of the sacrifices that need to be made between time, attention to detail, right? The things that he has to do as a franchise quarterback to set the example and to make sure he's prepared so he can help everybody else be as well prepared as possible. Going into conversation with Tony Sparano Jr. to understand the protection schemes, that's going to pay massive dividends. That's one thing with Anthony Richardson that's been abundantly clear, is that setting protections has been a bit of an issue. And he has a center, right? Ryan Kelly, you kind of trusted him to be able able to do a lot of that with Anthony Richardson figuring it out as he comes along. Well, now you have a rookie center and a quarterback who's basically a rookie. So if he wants to be that guy now, yes, getting that time in and learning the protections is going to be great for the future. And again, he's not going to come in be Superman right away, but I do think coming back, we're going to see on the field, like when you do the right things and you prepare the right way, like, and you really work on being better, it'll show up. Okay, it'll show up on Sundays. The work you do through the week will show up on Sundays. So I expect with him preparing, being more prepared, being better prepared, I expect Anthony Richardson to be able to come into the game, and we'll see on the field how much more prepared he is. Okay, now this is going to be a good Jets defense we're going against. So this is going to be, I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to come back and, throw for 250, run for 60, and, have 3 total touchdowns, maybe an interception. That's best case scenario. What's likely is that with him coming back, Jonathan Taylor is going to be much more effective. Okay, just by the numbers, that's how it is. When those two are on the field together, run game better. It just seems obvious, but that's just what it is, right? So you have Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson back there together. So run game gonna be able to go as long as it's able to go in the run game. Everything else gonna be okay. Everything else will be okay. Again, with Anthony coming in more prepared, I expect him to understand the reads better, understand the protections better. I expect him to come in and really be able to make the right decision. We see him make incredible plays, but you want to see him more consistently make the right decision, right? Live to fight another down, right? If you're passing on first down, it's okay to take the check down and just get an easy, 3-4 yards, 2-3-4 yards on first down, just to make sure you're not at 2nd and 10. Right? And it's those little things that Patrick Mahomes, somebody like Aaron Rodgers throughout his career. It's things that these great quarterbacks do, right? All the small things. So he's got to obviously continue to develop that. But I expect Anthony to be better in that department. Michael Pittman Jr. took a week off, and we'll see how much he can really be involved. I'm not thinking that Anthony's going to come out and complete 20 passes. Right, I expect us to be fairly run heavy in this game, and obviously Anthony, his completions have been down this year, so the opportunities have been less for the wide receivers, and I don't really expect it to go through the roof. I would expect 16, 17, maybe 18 completions at the most. And if that's the case, then yeah, Pitt's going to be involved. But I think Josh Downs is really the guy on this team. Maybe if Anthony, of course, he likes to go deep. Maybe we hit Pierce on a deep shot or two. But I really expect Josh Downs to be the guy going forward, and for Pitt to really just fall to a number 2 option. Right, especially in this offense, and having Alec Pierce on the outside is really the deep threat. We really have almost 2 possession receivers with the way Josh Downs is. Getting the ball into his hand, he's a possession receiver where he has a explosivity when you get the ball in his hands, right? After he catches the ball, he's more of a threat than I'd say Michael Pittman Jr. is, so it just makes sense to give him the ball. Nonetheless, having Pitt as the number 2 option is good. He's just getting paid like a number 1 right now. But nonetheless, coming into this game, man, we should feel fairly confident. It's really that Jets defense. They have so many good players, but ever since they fired Robert Saleh and have Jeff Ulbrich, head coaching the team and calling the defense or whatever their situation is there, I don't even know, to be completely honest with you, who still calls the defense. But nonetheless, that defense, I believe in a lot of the rankings, has been one of the worst since Robert Saleh left. So I think their defense has been exposed. I think we can continue to expose the weaknesses in their defense. I think Anthony Richardson coming back, being more prepared, and just overall being more of a pro overall is going to really help us here against the Jets. And so ultimately, when it really comes down to it, it's like, can we stop their offense? And their offense has been ridiculously inconsistent, but they have Breece Hall, Braylon Allen. Obviously, they have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. They have, Garrett Wilson. They have Devontae Adams. Like they have the weapons. Like, by all means, they got the guys. So coming into this game, like, from that aspect, it scares me. But the defense has played pretty well. Overall, like, even against, for most of the game against the Vikings, and they have a potent offense, like, the defense has been doing their thing. So overall, I think the defense is going to come out. They'll give up some points. They'll give us up some touchdowns, some drives where they just walk down the field on us. Like, it's Aaron Rodgers and they got a lot of talent. At some point, it's going to happen. But overall, I think the defense does a good job of, when we talk about bend don't break, like, it's frustrating to watch them give up 400 yards in a game, but they do a pretty good job of not breaking. At least recently they have. So I'll give the defense the edge on that one. And overall, I think we're going to come out of this game playing, in MetLife, getting flexed out of prime time. I think this is one everybody should come in a little upset, a little extra energy with Richardson coming back. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised this ends up as a 2-score game. I could see us winning this game 30-16. That is going to be my prediction for this game. I think it's going to be an explosive day for the offense. Jonathan Taylor going to have 23 carries for at least 125 yards. I think he has a really good game. I think Anthony comes out, has a good game. Wouldn't be surprised if he's able to get to 175 passing yards. I wouldn't be completely surprised if he goes over 50 rushing yards in this game. Just taking what he can, getting 8 to 10 carries by the end of it. But I do think the one wild card in this game could be special teams. I'm not always very confident in our special teams. Jets do have a pretty good special teams unit, and they are able to rip off some returns sometimes. So hopefully we don't give up any points in special teams game. But assuming special teams is a wash, then yeah, I think the Colts can win this game pretty handily. To be completely honest with you, the way that I've seen some Jets games, I like a lot of people on their team. I like Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, some of the people on the defense. Like, I'm fans of a lot of people on the Jets, but man, some teams are just bad. And hey, we're 4-win team. We're 4-6. Maybe we'll come into this and we'll still be bad, but I have hope that we're going to right this thing with Anthony coming back. I think there's going to be a different energy with him preparing the right way. Starting with Kenny Moore, the veterans on this team, really calling everybody out. Hey, we got to be able to put in the work. And then Anthony showing everybody what that work is that needs to be put in. I think it's probably been a productive week for the Colts, and I expect us to come out and for that preparation to show up on Sunday. So that's my thoughts on the game and my prediction. Again, 30-16 is what I'm thinking. Of course, I want to know what you guys are thinking, how you think the game's going to go, what you think the score is going to be. I'd love for you to let me know down in the comment section. Of course, we're going to be live for the game. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. Come by during the game. Come by after the game. We'll do a post game video. I'm probably going to try to release that in between the 4 o'clock games and Sunday night games, so that nobody has to miss any game action or whatever. But be prepared for us going live tomorrow. Also, post game video at some point. Got plenty more content going to be coming out throughout the week. Got some changes happening in life. Got some things coming up here pretty soon. Should have more capability, more availability to be able to do more content, right? So some things coming up. Gonna get plenty of content to you guys, or at least get as much content to you guys as I possibly can. So again, subscribe, have notifications on. I appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.